Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be going through the Sydney vs Collingwood AFLW season opener at North Sydney Oval, in which Sydney came out winners 50-35. Probably the only good tip I made this round. AFLW tipping this year, not probably my thing, it seems like. But yeah, you'll see probably new thumbnail graphics as well, as we'll be using the DFS way of their live scoring through that, because it does have fantasy stats quarter by quarter. But anyway, let's just jump into this video here. Here you go. Here's all the stats, and we'll just go through this. Laura Gardner, I'm pretty sure she got off to a really, and you know what we can actually do, if it will allow me, if I can just duplicate this, it's probably going to be the best manner. Duplicate it and then jump to quarter by quarter. If it will jump across. Doesn't seem, there we go. Okay, quarter by quarter. Okay, so as you see, Laura Gardner got off to a really good start and then tempered a little bit as they sort of got a little bit on top of her. But she ended up with 23, 2 and 8. A 90 pointer for a midfielder probably isn't the greatest, but in the chaos of everything that happened this round, honestly, it was probably about the 6th or 7th best midfield score. And so, yeah, probably wasn't the greatest value, and especially because Laura Gardner has tougher rounds after her bye. I just am a little bit worried for those who have her that she may have, she may struggle a little bit. McAvoy, 81. I'm pretty sure she was all around the ground. She played all over the ground, which was a little bit worrisome. 31, 10, 26, 14. So she's an interesting one. As a defender, this could be interesting, given that she has defender status, but she's moving all around the ground, including on ball, which is a little bit iffy, especially for the two next ones. But she could definitely be an option, especially on the Swans double. If you want someone that's gonna, if you want to be able to maneuver off of rookies, then she's probably the one there. Hurley, what does she do quarter by quarter? Just a massive third quarter when the rot sort of, or when the tide sort of slipped and the Swans got away. She was one of the ones that got into it. And yeah, I really liked her on ball. She was playing a little bit half forward, I believe, and not fully on ball because they had a lot of midfielders in there. You've got Gardner, McAvoy was playing some midfield minutes. Hurley was, Ham played a little bit, Tanya Kennedy also did, as well as Chloe Molloy. And all, what did I just name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 girls playing on ball. They got to spread minutes somewhere. Gardner's probably the one that can't really maneuver as much around the ground, whereas the others can play wing, half forward, half back, and everywhere else on the ground. So I think you'll sort of see a spread across McAvoy, Hurley, Ham, Kennedy, and and Molloy for CBAs. So that's just one to watch. McAvoy, Hurley, Ham, 16. I thought she was going to be the one that popped because I thought she was going to get midfield time. But when I saw that team lineup, even though she was named on the wing, I was like, and we don't trust lineups that much. I was like, something is off here that she isn't. I didn't like the fact that Molloy was named on ball, and also the fact that Hurley was named in the forward pocket and Kennedy was named on ball. I just didn't like how many on ballers they had in that lineup. Even though they were all going to be in the lineup, I just didn't like how they were all sort of named in different areas of the field. So I did go away from her, but Monahan did have a really good second half, 24-23. That's a really good second half, and she will be value, I think. Tanya Kennedy, I think, is just, she's going to be one of the banes of fantasy coaches, because she's going to take time away from Hurley, Ham, and potentially even a little bit away from Gardner. But yeah, she's 58, it's fine. Moffat, 58, really did struggle. I think just that injury cloud, she is probably 95%, but not 100%, and that's why she struggled a little bit. Privatelli, 2 goals, 58, not going to get much more out of her. Bullas, I was surprised about this when I saw it. She's also an on-baller as well, if you want even more on-ballers at the Swans. 56 from her, but I really like the high tackles. I think that's something that can be sustainable, especially with the women's game. You'll see that, look at the tackle numbers compared to the marks, 79 to 38, and the Swans are more of an expansive side that do flick it around a little bit. So you'll see that very, very common across the sides in the women's game. Heads, I was a little bit worried with the likes of Collier in the side, even though she's out concussed. So that'll be an interesting watch to see how this develops with 54 in the first game for her, 11 below her average. Chloe Molloy, 54, and she was spread all over the ground. It was even said in the Scotty Gowan's post-game press conference that her as well as McAvoy would be used all over the ground, and I didn't like that for heads, but I also didn't like it for fantasy prospects for the Swans girls. So maybe McAvoy, just because she's got that defender status and she's away from that midfield bubble where you sort of need 105 in that midfield bubble, maybe you can go for her, but I don't like Hurley, don't like Ham. I do sort of like Gardner just because she's a ball magnet when she really gets onto it, and I think they did run a little bit of a tag there with her. I also do think that Molloy got tagged. Buraldson, I think 45 for her, pretty good for cash generation. I know that most people went for her or McGee. I went for McGee in the end, who lost out 5 points, which is like, what, maybe 20k cash gen, so it wasn't the end of the world. Tarrant, 45, pretty good. Hamilton, 44, just, yeah, she's going to be that impact player, much like Molloy. They have a lot of impact players in there as well, in the midfield as well, for the Swans, so just don't touch her. Davies, Vale, Hillier, I thought was a lot better than the 36. She's playing more of a lockdown role, so, and more of a, lockdown medium defender. Mitchell, Zagetti, Lachlan, Grundon. Grundon as well, I think, much to the same effect as Buraldson. They'll have 28 games, they'll have 45 games, they'll have in-betweeners. I don't expect them to be much cash gen there. But yeah, she did all right for a 28, and then Collier got knocked out on a 26. Then we move over to the star of the game in Frederick, 21, 5, 5, and 20 hitouts. And she just dominated fully. That third quarter, she put up a 50, which is probably going to be one of the highest scoring quarters we'll see. Outside of that, the next highest in this game was a 39. So it just shows how much she was outscoring everyone else. She was doing everything, taking intercepts on the line, dominating Moffat and All-Australian ruckman from last year on in the ruck department as well. So yeah, she just dominated. Bonucci, a little bit horrific with the ball use, but got to 83. Probably not the most valuable because you've got Brie Davey coming back next week, and Blackburn outscored her and people around her sort of outscored her. So especially those that have the early double. So I just don't know if that's the pick. I thought got away really, really quickly and then slowed down. 50 at halftime, and I think that was an early 45 to 50 pointer, and then she really just slowed down. So did Bonucci a little bit, only 30 in the second. Ruby Schleicher, I think that Swan's kicking more accurately, as well as the small the small North Sydney ground didn't help Ruby Schleicher, but a 56 from her in all the carnage, probably not the worst result, to be honest with you. She does go down maybe 20k, but I think she's one long term that will be much better. And I think especially with some other things going on with that Collingwood team, I think that she'll only get better if she gets more game time under her belt after everything that's happened for her in the last 12 months. Campbell, 48, Tani White, potential suspension clouds over her. I'm just wondering when when that decision comes out. Maybe it'll be Monday, etc. As we'll see about that. But anyway, moving on. Livingston, 41, kicked goal in the end, moved forward. I don't like that role. Barnett, Lee, Blair, Porter, Sansonetti, James, Brazel, Atkinson, the Irish girl. I believe she might be concussed as well. In that Chloe Molloy clash of heads. 26 for her, pretty good. Well, not really. She doesn't really move, actually, to be honest with you. So, as you see here, just many more girls actually not really moving in cash generation terms. A lot more than you get in the men's. But in the end, Swans came out victorious by 15 points. And Frederick was probably the pick of the rucks, to be honest, alongside that of Mimi Strom, which we'll get to in the future recaps. But anyway, that is the video there. If you did enjoy the recap, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when future recaps come out, especially with there being the West Coast vs Richmond boil-over following this, and then you'll have GWS, Western Bulldogs, and Essendon Fremantle, the collapse that happened in that game, and everyone's AFLW fantasy sort of dreams were crushed in that Essendon Freo game. So yeah, we'll get to those games in the future recaps. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.